Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 different books I think all sports coaches should read. The reason why I like these books is because they can be applied outside of coaching. So for example, if you're a CEO of a business or a principal of a school even, the methodologies in these books help people become more efficient and effective in their leadership abilities, whether or not they are coaching or just running a business in general or leading an entity like a school even. I've curated these books into 3 different categories. The 3 different categories mainly look at just some of the aspects of coaching. So the 3 categories are psychological, tactical, and practical. And let's just jump into these books straight away. So the first book I want to talk about is Coaching the Mental Game by Harvey Dorfman. And this book looks at helping the reader inject strategies into his team and individual players as well to enhance their mental performance come game. So we're talking being able to be courageous when playing and being brave and being able to take risks and not beating yourself down when you are making mistakes often. Another thing that really stood out for me in coaching the mental game was how you communicate to your players and the importance of it. One of the things that it touched on was making sure that you tell them what you want them to do. Don't ever tell them what is wrong and what they have done wrong, because if you just sit there saying what they've done wrong and you haven't really told them what to do, when it comes to the actual game, they're just going to assume that because that thing is wrong, this other thing is not going to be wrong, and they'll do it, but then you end up screaming or yelling at him on the sidelines, telling him that it was wrong, and he's just going to be left confused and a little bit discontorted in terms of his mentality when it comes to communicating your own strategy. Now, the next book that I think all sports coaches should read, and it goes on to the tactical aspect of coaching, is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Now, I know what you're thinking. Andrew, why are you recommending a book that focuses entirely on warfare? Sports isn't even remotely close to warfare. Well, the interesting thing about this book is that it entirely focuses on providing your team, or in this case, an army, particular strategies to outsmart opponents during warfare. For example, one of my favorite quotes in The Art of War is making sure you know your enemy and you know yourself as well. So when it comes to a match, for example, say we're playing football and the other team has a weak or slow fullback, then the only thing that you might think of is maybe putting a strong and fast winger against that fullback, and that might create more goal scoring opportunities. So knowing yourself and your strengths, and then knowing your opponent and their weaknesses, could definitely help you secure victory. Another example could be if a team is weak at set pieces. Maybe the week before, you're constantly working on set pieces and a strategy to go about set pieces on game day, and that's definitely going to help you out in achieving more goal scoring opportunities or even goals in general. Another strategy that Sun Tzu talks about in this book is swarming your opponent when they are unaware. In football, and according to Jurgen Klopp and his Liverpool team, the best time to win the ball back is when you've immediately lost it. The reason for this is because when a team regains possession, they immediately aim to open up the field and progress forward. So you've got a lot of players who move away from the ball so they can try and achieve it, to receive it. However, because of that, that's when they're most exposed, and that's why Liverpool really do focus on a counter-pressing style or a gegenpressing style when they immediately lose the ball, and usually it works 90% of the time. They've won major trophies, they won the league title, and they've also won the Champions League as well, so it definitely is a strategy that has worked for Jurgen Klopp. The final book I want to talk about today is 5 Levels of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. 5 Levels of Leadership mainly looks at the practical way of coaching, and it really does centralize around the idea of how to acquire true leadership. John C. Maxwell identifies the 5 levels of leadership as position, permission, production, people development, and pinnacle. Maxwell states that leadership is about dealing with people and the dynamics between those people in order to attain some sort of goal. And he goes on to state that the better you can influence people, the higher your leadership ability. I'm pretty sure some of you who are watching have probably had a boss who has been unfair or has mistreated not just you, or probably someone else who was working with you at the time, and probably communicated their expectations about what they're trying to achieve in the business very poorly, and they're in a managerial position. If they're unable to communicate effectively, then they're not really showing true leadership. And that's probably one of the biggest things that this book talks about, making sure that you attain a goal by working together as a team, and not just working together, but influencing your team as well, so they can try and be at the same level as you in terms of work production. Maxwell's second level of leadership is permission, and that is where people follow you because they want to. Level 3 is production. People follow you because of what you have done for the organization. So essentially, they look at the results you have achieved whilst working in that managerial position. Level 4 looks at people development. People follow you because of what you have done for them, meaning you've probably built some sort of relationship, or an excellent relationship that is, with your employees. And finally, level 5 is the pinnacle level of leadership, where people follow you because of pretty much who you are and what you represent. Maxwell states that you get to this level when you develop new leaders that are themselves able to build other leaders. The book estimates that less than 1% of leaders make it to this level, though, so it's very rare, according to Maxwell. A recent example of this is when Michael Carrick, he was playing for Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson, played for a long time actually, and after he retired from his playing career, he ended up taking on a sort of manager role at Manchester United and trying to instill, or not really instill, but retain the glory that Man United had under Sir Alex Ferguson. Now, there are definitely more books associated with coaching than just these three. But what I wanted to do in this video was mainly outline 3 different books that have a different approach to coaching. So obviously we looked at a psychological category, and then we looked at the tactical, and then we also looked at a practical way of coaching and leading as well. So if you feel like you have the psychological aspect down when it comes to coaching, and want to get better at the tactical, then maybe The Art of War might be a better option to read. I'll leave links in the description down below, but I'm pretty sure you can go to your local library and read them for free if you really want to. I really think everyone should be reading. It's so important. And thanks for watching, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks again for watching.